Hey guys, Primus here, and welcome to a DC Universe Online mini tutorial, if you would, sort of. I don't know if you want to call it, but it's kind of a little guide to help you guys basically choose the right character for this game, alright? Mind you, this is the PC version, not the PS3 version, alright? As you may notice, it's like an HD, alright? True HD, not false HD that I usually do. The reason why I'm using the PC version is, first off, PC version, obviously graphically and, you know, mechanically, it's better. I don't want to say mechanically, but functionally wise, it's better and everything like that. But the main reason why I'm using it is the fact that I finally figured out a way to connect my PS3 controller to my PC to use this game. Alright, it took me a while, but I used a program called Motion Joy that you can download from motionjoy.com. I think just Google it or whatever, and then set up the controller. If you guys are having problems setting up your PS3 controller to your DC Universe Online game and everything like that, I'll do a separate tutorial on that, but for now I'm gonna do just a tutorial guide and what kind of character to use. Mind you, this is not the character I'm using. This is kind of a template character I was using to figure out how to basically you know, utilize the controller and everything, because I didn't want to start recording and, you know, start using the mouse and everything like that. Like, I have nothing against the mouse and keyboard, is that I'm used to playing with a controller, and on top of that, this game is meant to play with a controller, not on the keyboard and mouse. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm actually gonna delete this character. Oh god, I gotta delete his name. What's his name? CHG. I just randomly pressed buttons when I was making this guy. TRHT was, let's say, yeah, there we go. So I'm deleting them. Whoa, deleting it. Alright, so once you delete your character here, you basically get to choose what you want. If you, let's say, have a second character you want to make and stuff, and when you select, you know, create a new character and whatnot, it takes you here anyway. PvE is basically person versus environment, or people versus environment, whatever you want to call it. So basically here, you could do your missions, you could do your little, you know, bounty missions and everything else in the world of DC without the interference of other people, basically kicking your ass and interfering, if you would, right? For instance, there's two factions, heroes and villains. So if you're heroes, the villains won't be able to interfere with your mission. They won't be able to see you, I believe, and things like that. However, PvP, which is my favorite, is which players can actually go against you. They can actually interfere with your missions and everything like that. Obviously, missions that when you go inside a building, the PvP is turned off, because obviously that'll be kind of messed up. That if people would be able to follow you into a mission and everything like that, it'll be kind of pain in the butt, because you'd be like cornered in a small room. But I'll show you guys later on about that, alright? But I'm going to choose PvP for the fact that I like PvP. I don't even care if villains interfere. I actually like seeing villains flying around and stuff. It makes the gaming experience more you know, more, how you say, more in depth, if you would, right? So I'm gonna choose PvP here. All right, it's loading right now. Don't worry. There we go.
My greatest triumph was at hand. The final campaign in my.
All right, so I'll let you guys watch this little video here. Okay, this is pretty cool.
Constant battle.
Actually, I think this animation right here is awesome as hell. They did a really great job at making this CGI for this game and everything. But afterwards, graphically speaking, the game is okay looking. But right here, it's beautiful. Look at this. Oh, Wonder Woman! And that is, oh, I forgot his name. I always forget his name. That robot guy, he was human. Oh, I forgot. Oh, she got her ass kicked.
Lantern! Pick on someone your own size!
Black Adam and Green Lantern. There's Batman, the badass.
Concentrate fire on Luthor while I call down some artillery. Deathstroke, time for you to join the party.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, Cersei. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. Oh my god, it's pissing me off. She just chopped off the guy's head.
Come on, come on!
Ah, Mark Hamill, yes.
To do.
He's the only one that can do Joker, I'm sorry. No one else in the world can replace Joker's voice. No one. I remember watching the animated Batman series, and just hearing Mark Hamill be the Joker. Oh, it was awesome. Actually, the Batman in this game is the same one from the animated series as well. So,
Lose something?
Greetings, sister.
Green Lantern's getting his ass kicked. Oh, Howard Jordan, you suck. I remember when I first saw this video as a trailer, I thought it was Captain Marvel fighting. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't Captain Marvel good? And then I started doing research, and Captain Marvel has his counterpart, his nemesis, if you would, which is Black Adam, which I didn't even know he existed. But when I first saw this video, I was like, what the fuck? Why is Captain Marvel fighting against the good guys? That makes no sense. But after doing some research, I found out who he was. So, oh, Harley Quinn was dead.
What's this? Nobody kills the Bat but me!
Call him! Bring him to me!
Oh, that sucks. There's Superman just taking a good suntan, if you would.
Yes.
This guy's a verb. He's like, yes, Superman.
Batman!
When I first heard that, I thought he said Batman. I'm like, what? Batman? I was like, why is he saying Batman for? He said Madman. And if you think about it, Madman, Batman kind of sounds the same.
You don't deserve to live!
Yeah, you let him live. I would just rip his head off if I was Superman. If you say something like, you don't deserve to live, just rip the guy's head off. Just don't throw him aside like that. Come on. I mean, they really did a good job in the animation here. Like, it really well.
By a mere man. No. You've lost everything. No. I beat you.
Bitch!
Luthor!
No, but Superman can't die easily, though. Like, really? Doomsday whipped his ass, and he... What happened? Oh, that's right. He was in hibernation for some reason, and he came back from the dead. So I don't think a little spear to the heart is going to kill Superman. Like, really?
Brainiac had returned. For years, he'd been stealing the powers of Earth's protectors, but
that was your
too
fault.
Busy fighting amongst ourselves to see the danger. With you three dead,
well, blame the bad
Brainiac
guys. They're the ones who
quickly
started
eliminated
everything.
The remaining heroes, the lucky ones, died fighting. Finally,
if you're hearing any gulping sounds or like swishing sounds, that's because I'm drinking water. So my voice doesn't get all dried out when I'm talking.
I have traveled through time to warn you.
Yes, we know you fucked up, and now you're gonna try to fuck up our world.
Future. And it means the end
I like how
of
Batman's always
humanity, so
paranoid.
together, we must
Watch.
change it.
Batman right there's like, what the fuck?
What have you done,
See?
You a fighting
Superman,
chance.
Wonder Woman are like, what the hell?
Some kind of trap. Why should we trust you?
Because if you don't,
You're fucked.
Earth is doomed.
Oh, they should have said like, you're fucked. That would have been funny as hell.
I've stolen Brainiac.
But this is a rated E game,
them
so-
into Earth's atmosphere. They hold the powers stolen from the heroes and villains of my time, and will bestow them on anyone they contact. The exobites will create a new.
If they would have made DC Universe Online with like graphically like this during gameplay, oh my god, that would be fucking wonderful. For some reason, that image right there reminds me of BioShock. The dress looks very 1950-ish, and the ice and everything, and she looks like a little sister that was all grown up. I don't
I
know.
hope I am not too late.
It's a dumb little
or I will not be here.
thing
to
I was
see this
thinking
new
about.
Future. My work is not yet
All right,
done.
shut up, Lex. Yeah, whatever. Alright, so basically,
Identify.
here you can create your
Select gender and
character.
body type.
I was thinking about how I should create my character here. I really didn't know how to do it and everything like that. And to be honest, my last character, Big Boss, you probably saw some gameplay footage of that one. That's the PS3 version, mind you. Is a male, so I figured go female. Like it says right here, combat skills are not affected by your gender, so it doesn't really matter if you're male or female. But I'm gonna go for a female because I want something a little bit different. I'm tired of always playing a guy. I'm not saying I want to be a woman in real life or anything like that. It's just a different perspective, if you would, and it's pretty cool too, you know. I'm not sexist in any way, so I don't really care, and I know my sexuality, so I'm not like afraid like you guys are gonna judge me. So what I'm gonna choose here is Mesa. Like, to be honest, there's not really much difference between the Mesa and the Monarch. The only thing the difference is, I think, is the face. If you see the Mesa large, you can see she's more very Amazon-like, while the Monarch is a little bit more elegant. And then the sprite ones are just... that reminds me of the Bride of Chucky, so screw that shit. I'm not even gonna choose that. That thing scared the living crap out of me when I was a kid. So I'm gonna go for Monarch medium, large. Let's go for large. Because medium is kind of small in this game. Alright, so right here you can choose either custom your character, customize your character. Alright, shut up. Shut up. Or you can do inspired by. Let me show you the inspired by, what it looks like. Basically,
or villain morality.
Alright, there you go. So basically, this is basically, you know, Batman. This is idolizing Batman in some way. And obviously, right here will show you your morality would be hero, which is your faction, if you would. Power, what kind of power you're going to be using. Your role, what kind of role is it? There's 4 different roles. There's healer, tank, DPS, and controller, okay? And I'll go a little bit depth about that. Movement. There's 3 movements: acrobat, flight, and super speed. And then combat, I'll show you that a little bit later on. So basically here you can choose what, you know, based on different supervillains and superheroes. You got Lex Luthor, you could be a bald chick, the Flash. You got Wonder Woman, which is basically like Superman, except she doesn't wear a cape. There's a whole bunch of different characters you can choose from. And then over here, Green Lantern. This is if you get the DLC. I don't have it because I'm having fun as it is, using these characters. So there's different characters you can use here: Livewire, Geoforce, Terra. Oh, that's pretty cool. So what I'm gonna choose is, I'm not even gonna choose any of those. I'm gonna customize my character. All right.
Select a hero.
And this is basically your main thing you want to focus on. You want to be a hero or you want to be a villain. All right. Here, it really, the missions are a little bit different depending if you're hero or villain. But since I was a hero for my PS3 version, I'm gonna go for villain this time around. All right.
Select a personality to determine social behavior.
Here, basically, this does not affect anything whatsoever. It's just basically how you stand when you're just chilling out. You got your serious, you got your primal, you got your flirty, you got your comical. Most people with girls pick flirty. I'm gonna choose that one because it fits your personality. Alright. Mentor is important because it basically determines the missions you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing mostly missions for the Joker, mostly for Lex Luthor, or mostly for Cersei. To be honest, I want to go for the Joker. Why? Because Lex Luthor and Cersei are in Metropolis, and to be honest, I don't really like the Metropolis levels. I like the Joker better. Joker's always one of my favorite supervillains of all time. So I'm gonna choose Joker's the fact that you get to play in Gotham City. But I'm not really sure I want to do that. Probably want to go for Lex Luthor just for the fact that I'm gonna be more of a tank, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna go for Lex Luthor just for the fact that I'm gonna be a tank. Alright. Now here, this is... Alright, shut up. This is where it gets a little bit complicated here with the powers. Depending on what powers you choose, depends on what you're gonna be. Fires are known for being a tanks or being for DPSs, alright? Usually, I think they're more of... I've seen these guys more of as a DPS than anything else, just the fact that their defense isn't that high compared to the ice tanks, and I'll get there soon enough, alright? But I think I'm gonna choose ice just for the fact that I have my reasons why. Fire is good. Fire, the only one thing good about fire is that it's a tank, but it also could be a healer at the same time, because it has, the fire guys have basically abilities that can heal themselves. So if you want a person that can dish out damage while at the same time kind of heal themselves slowly, not as fast as the healers themselves, like the sorcery or the nature, but just over time, kind of like a gradual increase of health. I'll go for fire. All right, fire is really good for solo plays. That's what I've heard. Gadgets are more DPS control types. These basically, you're going to be using gadgets, batarangs, sticky bombs, cryofoam. You'll be mostly helping out your teammates, debuffing and buffing you and your opponents. All right. What's also great about the gadgets and controllers and in general is the fact that they have abilities that can basically prevent healers from healing themselves. So if you're gonna do, like, say PvP, gadgets are pretty good in the fact that they can debuff a lot of the tanks and they can debuff a lot of the healers. All right, so especially if you're doing like PvP versus PvP with like 8-on-8 and stuff like that, you should always have a controller to always make sure to debuff those tanks, debuff those healers and whatnot, because those healers can be pain in the butt. So for instance, gadgets have an ability called cryofoam, in which removes healing or slows down healing abilities for any type of healing power. All right. Gadgets, you should be a little bit experienced with the game and whatnot, because of the fact that since they don't have the highest health and the highest defense, they're really squishy characters, and the fact that they can be really damaged real quickly, so you gotta be careful with them. For instance, my big boss character for the PS3 version, he's a squishy character in the fact that I can't really take that much damage, but thank God for my debuffing and my buffing abilities allows me to basically go against tanks. I do sometimes win fights against tanks, but it's kind of difficult, especially if the guy's a really high level. But it just really depends on your, to be honest, in my opinion, it just really depends on your experience and the armor that you have. Next thing, Ice. This is the one I'm going to choose. Alright, Ice is a really great tank for the fact that they can take a lot of damage. I mean, a lot of damage. They actually have higher defense than the Fire. Fire is more for DPS, more of like attacking, while Ice is more defensive. They actually create defensive abilities. They have buffing abilities in which helps them increase their defense. They also have abilities, I think, that can reflect damage and everything. These guys are basically going to be your front line. They're the ones going to be taking most of the damage most of the time if you're going to be doing raids and whatnot. And these guys are really great against, really great in PvP for the fact that they can take a lot of damage, especially if you're going against, let's say, a fire tank in which they can't really take as much damage. But you have to be careful for the fact that mentals and gadget guys can basically debuff these dudes, so you have to make sure that when you're going against a gadget or a mental person, that you basically knock them out quickly as possible, because they can debuff you, and if you get debuffed, that's not the really a good thing to happen to you. Alright, next up is a mental. This is another control type. I really don't see anybody really using these. I rarely see anybody use mental. I do see from time to time people having mental abilities, but not as much. I think gadget's probably the most common control type of the entire game, just for the fact that a lot of their abilities are very useful and they're very quick to use. Next up is nature. Alright, nature's your healers. And they also, the fact that they can basically transform into animals. Alright, they can become werewolves, they can become pterodactyls, and they can become other things I really don't know, because I never really played with them and whatnot. Actually, my old character that I first started off with the PC version was a nature type. I didn't really like it for the fact that I don't want to be a support class anymore. I already have a support class, which is my controller in my PS3 version, and to be honest, I want to be out there attacking people and being out there on the offensive rather being, you know, all the way in the back shooting my pistols and just helping people out. I want to actually be the people attacking. Alright, but these are great healers. Alright, they're really awesome. So if you're looking for a healer type that's not a sorcery, go for nature. It's the other option, and it's I think it's pretty cool. You get to transform into a werewolf, so that's awesome. Next up is sorcery, the most common healer of the entire game. You see people using this one the most, and frankly, they're probably one of the most annoying healers of the entire game, just to the fact that they have really great healing abilities. If you see like pentagrams or like weird little orbs flying around enemies and stuff like that, that's because there's a sorcerer around that's basically buffing and healing them and everything like that. So you want to take out the sorceries and the gadgets right away. In my opinion, that's the best thing to do in these games when you're playing PvP versus player versus player. if you're going to 8-on-8 and everything like that, aim for the healers and aim for the gadget guys first, just for the fact that they're the ones that are going to be debuffing and buffing the teams and everything like that. They're basically the ones who are going to make the tanks even stronger and everything like that. Alright, so take out the sorceries and the controllers first. Alright, it's my advice. And then over here is just the DLC character, the DLC powers. This one you get from I think it's Battle for Earth DLC, and it's basically an Earth type. This is another tank, I believe. Yeah, it's another tank. Electricity, you get that one for the Flash DLC. This is a healer type. Another common healer ability that people use. I really don't see the nature as much. Nature's it's once in a while I see that one, but the most commons are the sorcery, then the electricity, and then obviously nature, because that's the last healing class. And then finally the light class, which is a very common control type as well, but I actually see a lot of people use the light class as more of a DPS than anything else. So if you get the Green Lantern DLC, try out the light power ability here, but mind you, I see most of these guys being more of a DPS than control types. Control types are mostly meant for the gadgets, while the light guys, the Green Lantern dudes, the Yellow Lantern dudes, I see them more as a DPS, dishing out damage rather than anything else. And they're really strong, they're really great too. And that's obviously if you get these DLCs and whatnot. But for me, I am gonna go for Ice, just for the fact that, I don't know, it's pretty cool. Ice ability. I see everybody with fire. I really don't see much people with ice. So I'm gonna go for ice here. Alright.
Select movement mode.
Alright, now movements. Movements are basically, in my opinion, kind of important in the fact that depending on what class you are, you want to have a good ability. For instance, I see everyone use flight. Obviously, everybody wants to fly, you know, for any reason. Super speed is pretty good. I see some people using this one. Acrobat, I've seen people use this one too. Acrobats, you probably see this mostly with the control types, mostly with the gadget guys, really. For instance, my character is a gadget and he uses acrobatics, I mean. And acrobatics is pretty good. Just fat. It's like it's a balance between super speed and flight. And what I mean by that is flight. The only thing you can really do is fly around, really. So when you're walking and everything, you're extremely slow, so you can't really walk that fast. But obviously, if you're flying, you'd be able to like fly really fast and everything. But sometimes, if you just want to walk and stuff, they're the slowest character in walking. Next is super speed. I'm gonna go to super speed. Super speed, they're great because they're really fast. They're the fastest walkers and fastest runners. So they're really great for like running away from opponents and everything like that. The only downfall for them is that controlling them while running up buildings and walls and stuff can be kind of pain in the butt. I just find it because I actually, my last character, the one I told you guys about with the nature ability that I had, he was super speed and he was a bit troublesome in controlling, but he wasn't as bad. Okay, next up is the acrobat, which I think, like I said, is a balance between flight and super speed, because the acrobats can fly. Well, they glide really, but they can fly technically, but they're not as fast as the flying dudes. Okay, but the fact that the acrobats can actually climb up walls, alright, like the super speeds. The super speed dudes, they can climb up walls or run up walls and everything like that. Acrobats are the same thing, right? They can actually climb up the walls, they can glide. So they're kind of the balance between flight and super speed, alright? So if you're looking for more of like a well-rounded character, go for acrobat for the fact that you can climb on walls, you can fly, things like that. Super speed characters, they can't fly, they're always stuck on the ground, they always have to be attached to something, alright, obviously because they're using their feet. And then flight can only fly and stuff like that. And sometimes flying with these characters can be a little bit difficult to control, especially during the beginning when you're a beginner and everything like that. So, but for my character, I'm gonna go for flight. Alright. Alright.
Select weapon specialty for
Weapons.
available data.
Weapons are extremely important depending on what class you're going to choose. I see a lot of people using the bows for DPS characters. For instance, like I've seen some ice characters use bows. Brawlers is probably some of the most common for tanks. Dual pistols. If you're gonna be a controller, I recommend going for this one, just for the fact that in the tree, basically the evolution tree for the dual pistols, On the bottom, it has an ability which allows you to increase your vitalization, which is basically your power regeneration. All right, which, if you guys don't know, power in this game is basically your MP. All right, your magic points, if you would, for those people who don't know what MP is. So dual pistol is really great for controllers, gadgets, just anybody in general who's going to be, you know, a control type. All right, dual wield, another melee ability that's good for tanks, because you obviously have to be close up and personal. Hand blast, another common control type ability. Martial arts, another tank ability. One-handed, DPS mostly. I see a lot of DPS use this one. I don't really see much tanks using this weapon, but I see a lot of DPSs, especially if you're, let's say, you're going to be a gadget guy, but you don't want to be a controller type, you want to be a DPS type. I see a lot of these guys use that one. Rifle is another good beginner control type weapon, just for the fact that it has a long range, and the fact that these weapons are really good too, especially the grenade launcher and everything. It's really useful because it has a wide spread. You can get multiple enemies all at once. Rifle is actually my first weapon I chose for my character on the PS3 version. It's useful. I really recommend it. It's very versatile. Staff, I think that's another DPS weapon, I believe. Two-handed. Obviously, this is a tank because of the fact that it's extremely slow but powerful. So for the fact that you swing really slow with this weapon, is really meant for tanks, because tanks can take a lot of damage and everything like that. And then shield. This is actually, I think, is the last Laugh DLC. That's basically a Joker DLC. You can only get this weapon if you have that DLC. Basically, it's kind of, I think it's like an homage to Captain America and everything like that. Although this is a DC game, not a Marvel game, but hey, whatever. But what I'm gonna choose is, I'm gonna go for Martial Artist. Here we go, Martial Artist. The fact that it's fast, it's quick, and it's powerful. Alright, so basically it's my morality, personality, mentor, power, weapon, movement, and then next is actually costume. Alright, I'm not going to really show you all this because of the fact that I'm going to be taking my time in doing this. Alright, so I'm going to actually fast forward this, or just kind of, you know, quick swipe or whatever, or fade if you would, to my character that's actually done. But here, this game gives you a lot of customization. You can change your colors for every clothing you have. I mean, literally, let's say you want your helmet to be a different pattern of color than your armor. Then you can do that. You can basically specify that you want your chest plate to be basically a different pattern color than your helmet. Mind you, although it gives you the ability to, let's say, choose 3 colors. Where am I going? You can only choose 3 colors, alright? And basically those 3 colors have to be your entire layout for your character. You cannot change that at all. So for instance, if you want, let's say, your helmet to be red, white, and blue, and you want your chest to be green, red, and orange, you can't do that, alright? It has to be the same 3 colors, but you can rearrange the order of the colors and everything like that. So let's say the helmet can be white, but the chest plate can be blue with, like, let's say, a hint of white or something like that. You could do that if you want, alright? So each piece of armor, you can change the order of the colors, but you can't change the colors themselves. All right. So this takes into account that you can only choose 3 colors for your character for the entire armor set. All right. So you could do a lot of customization. You can change your face, your emblem, whatever. But I'm not really going to show you this because this is going to take forever for me to do. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to making my character. So I'll be back with the actual done character. All right. So stay tuned, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back here. This is my character. Yeah, whatever. I kind of just, for now, I just went for this because there's not much armor I have, so I can't really do much with the character and everything like that. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. All right. So I'm gonna go for next, and this is where you get to choose your name. I actually have a name in mind. Oh yeah, that's right. Haha. So yeah, there we go. Finish. Oh shit! No one ever chose that name. Haha! Lucky me.
The center of the multiverse. It will belong to Brainiac.
And basically, these cutscenes, as you see at the moment, is basically the cutscenes you're going to be seeing throughout the entire gameplay. All right, like once you beat like a main level or something like that, you see these cartoon movies rather than the actual computer-generated movies. This is basically explaining you the what's happening in the game, in the world, and everything like that.
This will be sorted and purged once the digitizing is complete. Earth's resistance does not concern me.
Because they suck.
There is no intellect strong enough, or power brutal enough to resist me.
Joker.
Soon this planet
Fucking crazy ass son of a bitch. I love him.
Will be mine. Intriguing. There is an anomaly in Earth's atmosphere. Beginning analysis. These exobytes are my own technology, each one holding unknown stores of digitized power from Earth's future. My harvester ships will simply reclaim the data provided by these exobytes and seal Earth's fate.
Bum bum bum. Alright, come on. Digitizing humans.
This is a new obstacle. These humans resist my assimilation. My conversion units cannot hold them. Let the humans use their powers. In the end, they too will belong to Brainiac.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Keep on dreaming, boy. Alright, so basically that's it there. It took me a while actually to make my character and everything because I'm kind of like, I didn't want my character to look stupid. Also, I didn't want my character to look very generic looking. So I was trying to, you know, balance it out and everything like that. And plus, in the beginning, you don't really get good armor. It's like towards like higher levels and stuff like that, in which you have access to better armor and stuff like that. So here's my character.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please press the little like button down below. Also, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you want more updates on what's going on my channel, just visit me on Twitter or at my Facebook page. So, this is Primus, keep it crunchy, and peace out.